Hey guys, it's been a while since I've done a full commentary on a driving test, so I thought I'd use opportunity today to give you a little full commentary on a full test. So this is one of my students, Ayla. She took a test in July, passed with 3 driver faults. It's her first test, so it's a first time pass. A lovely little drive, a couple of minor faults which I'll try and identify on the way. It might be a little bit hard to spot because one of them is for gears, but we'll try and work it out. I'm going to give you a bit of a talk through about what the route entails, what Ayla's doing, what she might be asked to do by the examiner on the drive, and just some tips and tricks to give you a bit of an edge on your driving test. So we've left the test centre in Telford. The test centre is on Horton Wood 35. So if you're going to try and find it to come and practice, just tap Horton Wood 35 into your sat nav. We're turning left at the end of the first road and we're joining a 40-mile-an-hour road. So we're expecting vehicles to be going quite fast as we join this road. So we want to make sure we have a real good look before we emerge and then get quite a lot of gas going as we move off. So using the accelerator pedal to get moving. The time of Ayla's test was 8:10 a.m. So we're expecting quite a bit of traffic, a bit more traffic than we perhaps would normally get on a normal test time. It doesn't seem too bad in Horton Wood so far though, and Ayla did comment at the end of her test that she didn't think the traffic was as heavy as she expected it to be. So I don't know what's happening there, whether we've just caught a lucky day. It is a Friday we do this test on, so not too sure. Coming to the first roundabout, and we're turning right third exit, which is going to leave Horton Wood. They're quite small roundabouts in Horton Wood, so I'd probably recommend second gear as an absolute maximum if you're in a manual car. If you're in an automatic car, bringing that speed down to sort of 15 miles an hour max to go around it. Still try and give space in case a car wants to go ahead next to you, so we don't want to hog the entire roundabout, we want to keep on the inside. Coming off that quite nicely. This little patch of Horton Wood have just resurfaced, you can tell by the darker tarmac colour. So they've just been resurfacing and repainting this little patch. And then we're leaving Horton Wood. We're following the sat-nav at this point as well, so about 20 minutes of this test will be following the sat-nav from the test centre. We're going to be turning left first exit. I can see a couple of vehicles on the right, so I'm thinking we're stopping. Or we're certainly slowing as she's doing really well. Now this was the one that she got the minor fault for. I might not know, I don't know. There's a no, she didn't get a fault for that one. There's a roundabout where the examiner mentioned that she tried to use third gear to take it, but she was too slow for third gear, so she struggled to make acceleration up. I don't think it was that one because we wouldn't have got ahead of that white car, which you can see in the bottom corner, had we not been in a more appropriate gear, so maybe gear 2 to do that one. But I like the fact that Ayla crawled up to that junction, tried to carry on flowing without stopping. That's how roundabouts ideally work, and that's how we like them to work all the time. It just saves you the hassle of having to stop and go again. 50 speed limit. We've got up to speed quite nicely on this road. Coming up to the next roundabout, and I believe we're turning right on this first roundabout, and we're doing a double roundabout by the MOD in Donington. Definitely try and see these ones if you can, because this requires quite a bit of planning, because coming off this first roundabout, if you're turning right, in about 50 yards, you are faced with a second roundabout, and you have to know what lane you are going to be in to be able to deal with that roundabout. So we're going right on this first one, and then we're going to be going ahead on the next one. It's a head third exit. Don't get confused when you hear third exit. It is ahead, so we should still use the left lane, as Ayla is doing. It's quite a tight roundabout, this one, so we want to be a little slower. I think this is the one that we take in third gear. It's quite hard to tell. Yeah, we've gone a little bit central there. I think that was the roundabout he was talking about. So he also commented that she was a little bit central when she took the roundabout. So I think that was the roundabout that she's perhaps done in gear 3. That's probably more of a second gear roundabout maximum, just because the lanes are quite tight. You've got to get round that corner. You've got to keep in your left side of the road if you're going ahead. So I think second gear is probably the better option for that one. But we've managed to make the progress again. My car, thankfully, is pretty good at re-accelerating in third gear. Bus is just pulling in, so we're just giving the bus a bit of space, which is good. Hanging back a little bit until we know he's in the lay-by the bus stop. Pedestrian just crossing, so just taking a second to allow them to cross. Is the ambulance pulling out on us? Yes. So again, we're just going to ease off our gas a little bit. We can use the slight hill here to decelerate quite nicely, so we don't have to get too much on our brake. Keeping a good distance with the ambulance, which is lovely to see, because that ambulance could turn in here potentially. Yep, and they are ambulance station on the left, so they're turning in there. And then we're going to be turning left at these traffic lights. Now, these traffic lights at Donington change very quickly. So even though they're on green now, I'm expecting them possibly to change back to red. Oh, no, they haven't. Pedestrians were there as well, so I thought they might have changed. Probably doing this in second gear. Just needs a bit more of a tight turn, a little bit of slower speed, and then we're moving off into Donington. So we're in some housing parts of Donington now. Got some meeting situations coming up. Are we parking up? Yeah, we're parking up about a car length behind this black vehicle. We're not worrying about dropped curbs, and that's what the examiner will probably say in this situation. It doesn't quite a good job avoiding the dropped curb, actually, but they sometimes will say to you, don't worry about dropped curbs, just get nice and close to the parked vehicle. Now, this is called an angled move-off, so Ayla's spot on there. She's got her car ready nice and early, nothing behind her. She's moved out nice and steady, making sure it's safe behind and ahead. Potential signal if you need it, and moving her way around the vehicle. It shows good observation skills, good clutch control. You can move around the vehicle without getting too close to it. You can take it nice and wide, and you can deal with the situation safely. Well done. Coming down Donington. So I think this road's called School Road. If I'm incorrect, please correct me in the comments. But we're in Donington at the minute, just following this corner. Now, I know this because I do this road quite a bit. There is always a parked Audi on this bend. So if you ever are driving down here, please be careful, because there's always a black Audi. There, oh, it's not a black Audi. Oh, there actually is more than one. There's usually a couple. There's the black car that we always see. There's the black Audi. Always parked there. Always on the bend. Just be extra careful on that corner. This corner's not brilliant either, because you've got a red car and you've got a white car. Now, we can't see into that bend, so we should sit behind this red car for longer than perhaps we usually would do, so we can get a good view there. We can see. We're carrying on. Yeah, just got away with that. Potentially, if you were concerned about the other car coming the other way, we could always tuck in after the first vehicle behind the white car, and then we could come back out again once that other car coming towards us had passed. But we dealt with that quite nicely, got some gas on and got moving. We don't want to park there, do we, Ayla? We want to carry on a bit further. So I think she's realised that perhaps that's not the best place to park. This is a much better place to park down here. So I think she's realised that that might not have been the greatest place in the world to park up. So we've dealt with a much better situation there. We're running the risk of being A, very close to the bus stop, and B, also being close to those parked cars on the opposite side of the road as well. So we've fixed that nicely. I was a bit concerned for a second there, but obviously she passed, so it couldn't have been that much of an issue, but this is a much safer place to be. Again, another blind spot check, only the pedestrians to worry about, no one behind us, so we're carrying on. It is quiet. Yeah, very quiet. Strange. We're turning left at the end of the road. Now, there is a left turn shortly before the end of the road, so we don't want to signal too early. We want to make sure we're past this turn here, and then we're going to mirror signal to say we're turning left. Not a great view, so we're probably going to treat this as a stop. Gear one nice and early, get our car ready to go. And there is a pedestrian crossing on the left, straight as you emerge, and you've got to make sure no one's waiting to cross there, because you could move off from that left turn, accelerate, and then the crossing's on red, and you've had to slam your brake on. So looking left and right is super important. Got a gap there by the looks of it, so we're moving off there. Nobody at the crossing, but we're just taking our time as we go through it. We're coming back to the clock tower roundabout now. We've got a mini roundabout to deal with before it. We're still on a 30 speed limit road. It looks like a bigger road than 30, but there are houses nearby, and there's also been no speed change signs since we emerged out of the Donington side road, so we're assuming still a 30. We're coming to the mini roundabout by McDonald's and the car garage, the petrol station. So we're going ahead on the mini roundabout, and we're going to be turning left on the bigger one, which is the clock tower roundabout. There's some interesting videos on that on my channel elsewhere, guys, involving speed changes as you approach the clock tower roundabout. Lorry's waiting on the left, taking up both lanes. Interesting. Interesting to see if a car could get in there. And we're turning left on this roundabout. So we're watching the traffic come from Newport. A couple of vehicles. Red vehicle, red lorry. So we're just giving them a bit of space. And we're just hanging back a bit, which is nice. My dash camera's just cut to about 10 seconds ahead. I think we had a minor fault for stalling. And what usually happens on a stall is that my engine stops and then restarts. So it might have just cut the dash cam very briefly there. Because I haven't edited that. That's completely unedited. I'm going to this completely blind. So I'm guessing that's where the stall occurred and Ayla's got her car going again. I've got moving again. A stall, as long as you fix it on us staying safe, is just a driver fault. So just a minor fault. Wouldn't escalate to anything more unless there's an interest, kind of a conflict in security. So if you start rolling backwards or rolling into the roundabout and the examiner has to stop you, then we've got a serious fault. But if you fix it yourself and get secure and stop yourself from it getting any worse, you're all good. Just a minor fault there, just a driver fault. Going ahead at the roundabout, second exit, keeping the left lane. Now really watch for anybody on the right hand side on this one, because some vehicles do use the right hand lane to do that. No one's done it there, but it's worth just a right side check as well as a left side check on that one. We're back on the 50 road heading back to Horton Wood. We're not done yet though, bear in mind we're only about 10 or so minutes into the drive. So we're not doing anything just yet back in Horton Wood. We're actually heading back on ourselves and we're going to head down towards Trench Lock. So we're looking at heading down towards Trench Lock, still a 50 speed limit on this road. Solid white line on the left indicates that. They've resurfaced this road as well recently, and they haven't put the road markings back in to say 50, and there also aren't any signs on this road on the lamppost to repeat and let you know it's a 50. So it's one of those ones where you have to kind of have a little bit of knowledge, look at the speed change signs as you come off the roundabouts either side, and kind of almost predict, kind of almost know that this area is a 50. We're following the road ahead, second exit. There isn't anything today, is it? It's weird, isn't it? I've never seen an 810 test so quiet. Bizarre. Going ahead, second exit. Done well with that one. No speed change coming off. Still got the solid line on the left telling us no stopping, no parking. So it's safe to assume it's still a 50 speed limit. There are some repeater signs on this road. There's one on the right just as that red car comes past that lamppost. There it is, 50 there. So we know we're on a 50 speed limit here. Now we're coming down to Trench Lock. And I'm going to tell you where we're going because I know this route now. We're going to be taking the second exit, which is going to put us on the A442 South. The dual carriageway, the Eastern Primary, the EP. People know it as lots of different things. Any signposts you see and any road markings you see on your drive will say A442. South is off towards the town centre and then eventually Madeley. North goes off towards Horton Wood. So we're kind of in the north end right now. We're heading towards the south. So we need to use the left lane on approach. And then as we move through the lights, we go from lane 1 into lane 2, which is in the middle. Because our lane splits. If you look at that green sign ahead of you, if you can see it, I have covered this on another video. Left lane is just for trench, but our left lane grows to 3 lanes. So we get a left lane, a middle lane, and a right lane. The white van that you can just see at the edge of your dash cam video should use the far right hand lane, so they shouldn't cross that white line. And we're using the centre, the middle lane. Now, do we do it? No, we don't. However, we have done that safely. So we've not gone the correct way, but that will not fail you on your driving test. It's actually not a problem. It wouldn't even get you a driver fault, because to everybody else around you on that road, in their eyes, you've done the correct thing there. All right. So if you make a mistake and you go the wrong way, own it. All right. We're having to turn into a side road. Interesting. To be able to turn around to come back en route, basically. But this is where it gets very interesting. So we've now got a van that's blocking the road. They've got space to go into that little gap there. We're going to carry on ahead. It is a dead end, so we are going to need to turn around at some point. Let's just see how we deal with this, because I was aware of this, but I wasn't quite sure how it was rectified. So this is a really good example of how something can go wrong on a driving test, but still be safe and not be an issue. I think we're doing a little bit of a J turn here. I'm going to put forelock left on. Yeah, we are. This is great initiative. And the examiner won't be able to help on this because it's a test. So Ayla's doing this all by herself. And then that's going to get us back en route. So we're going to turn left at the end of the road. And that's going to put us back down towards Trench Lock. And we're going to go left at Trench Lock onto the dual carriageway. What a great bit of initiative from Ayla there. Well done. Yep. Keeping an eye on that little child and that tiny little dog. Making sure they don't run out on the road on a short lead. So we're back on Trench Road now. Heading back towards Trench Lock. We've rectified our mistake. No driver fault recorded. So no issue. We're not training to become a taxi driver. We're training to be safe on the road. So we're not looking for you to be directional based or know where you're going or be able to guide yourself around Telford independently necessarily, apart from following the sat-nav. Things go wrong. Nerves creep in. We mishear the sat-nav. We mishear what the examiner says. Things happen. But as long as we fix it safely like we're doing here, we're all good. So we should be turning left here now. Yeah, we are. So we should have used the left lane and merged into the middle lane to be able to do that correctly, but we kept in the left lane for Trench. So there is a video on that as well. I might put all these videos in the description below so you can see them all. On to a 60 speed limit road, not a national. Do not do 70 on this road, please. It's a 60 speed limit. And we're going to, I believe, the second slip road to leave the A442. So this is our first one. Now, because there's one leaving, we can safely assume there's going to be one joining shortly after. So we need to be observing on the left to make sure we haven't got to accommodate anybody in our lane. We ultimately have priority, but we don't want to make anybody have to slow or stop excessively on that slip road. If we can accommodate them either by adjusting our speed or positioning, maybe we're moving across to the right lane, we will try and do that to allow them to join. Let's have a look. Is there anybody on that slip road? Someone ahead, but they've already joined. Can't see anybody to the left of us. Is there anyone behind? No. So we're all clear there. They've just remarked all of the A442, certainly this end anyway. They're all very vivid, apart from that white line on the left. They're all very vivid white lines now, which is making the markings a little easier to spot. The road signs on the floor are much easier to see as well, which is great. 60 speed limit. Now, if you were going off further towards Telford Town Centre and beyond, at this point you would need to move across to the right-hand lane. However, we've been told we're taking the next exit, so our lane is actually already our exit, and we know that because the hazard lines in the middle are long lines and short gaps telling us there's a hazard approaching, and the bottom of this sign will actually say get in lane. Now, if you look at the centre line again, the markings have changed again. They are now showing short, stumpy white markings, and that's telling you basically these roads are in the process of splitting into two. So the right lane to continue ahead is for the A442. The lane we are in right now is actually heading towards the B5061, which is going to leave. Our sign is telling us that as well. And then we're slowing down. There's not necessarily need an indicator. It doesn't matter if you do indicate, but it's not an essential. We've got to get down to a recommended 30 speed limit for the corner. There's a sign back there that tells you that. Please don't do this corner any faster than 30. It's really difficult to control the car if you're going any faster than 30 miles an hour, and you might end up, if you're on a driving test, potentially getting a serious fault for that. Now we've got to follow the road signs at the end, which are going to tell us we can only turn left. There's a mandatory 30 speed change there rather than just a recommended one. So we know we're now on a 30 speed limit road. All traffic has to turn left. No one's coming, so we turn left. We're probably going to go all the way around this roundabout, I believe. So right exit 5, and that's because we couldn't turn right coming out of the roundabout. Coming out the end of the road, apologies. Get my teeth in today, don't I? I'm recording this completely unedited, just so you know. So expect some little gaffes and some little slip-ups. Not quite Joe Biden standard, but we've gone right third exit instead. Okay, my mistake. Different little route there. That's fine. So we're heading down into Oakengates. I just missed my political joke about Joe Biden as well. There we go. What a shame. Coming down into Oakengates, 30 speed limit still. Coming downhill, so really keep an eye on your acceleration level. Keep that pressure nice and light. Even just cover that brake if you're worried about braking the speed limit too heavily. And we're coming around the corner shortly, and we're going to be coming to a roundabout. And it's vital that we then look at the floor for this roundabout, because before you get on the roundabout, there's a 20 speed change. There are no signs to tell you that. There is only a road marking on the floor. You can see it right there. So we know it's a 20. We've done this plenty of times with Ayla, so she knows this area is a 20 speed limit. And that's because we're around by Oakengates High Street. Heavily pedestrianised. Lots of crossings, whether they're pedestrian crossings, so puffin crossings, or whether they are zebra crossings a bit further down. We have to stick at around 20 miles an hour, just under, because of the extra pedestrian level. Especially this time of morning as well. There is a school up the road, primary school just a bit further up this road, so a couple of primary schools to be exact. So we've got to be nice and slow and steady. Let's see where we're going next. Mini roundabout and zebra crossing. That's my cat, just in case anyone's asking what's going on there. Back to the 30 speed change. The chap's just turning right, that's all good. We've got a parked van on double yellow lines. Brilliant. Not enough room for us to clear past that, so we need to wait. Ayla's got herself in a good position to be able to see. Oh, okay. Oh, very nice. Okay, good. So initially not enough space, but as we've then crawled forwards and we've seen the light, a little gap, we've been able to move out around it. Great work. That's all the work we've done by the school that near to where Ayla lives. And when you do a 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock lesson, you end up getting the tail end of the school traffic on that road, and there's lots of parked cars to navigate past. I always make a joke of Ayla because she loves this bush on the left. We've been in it numerous times. Our door mirror has been in it numerous times on lessons in the past, so fingers crossed we avoided that bush on a driving test. It is quite a tight road, so I understand why we've got a little bit tight, but we always make a joke, so that'll live forever on driving lessons. On a 30 speed limit. Now, this road might not be safe to do 30 because it is quite narrow, it is quite tight. If you've got bigger vehicles coming the other way, it's going to look snug. You might want to reduce your speed down to 25-ish so you can get through it safely. Remember the old saying that we always want to use on driving lessons and in driving in general? Less space, less speed. So if you're coming into a situation where the lanes are narrow, the space is smaller, just reduce that speed to get through it safely. It'll become far more manageable for you as a driver. You can navigate through the space, you can stay away from the centre line, making sure you're not affecting vehicles coming the other way, and it'll just be a whole lot safer for everyone involved. Change into a 40 speed limit now, picking that speed up. Coming on here, got pedestrian just crossing with their dog. Just taking the edge off the speed just to accommodate them, great work. Carrying on down the road. This is Summerfield Road, so for a long time, guys, this was a 30 speed limit all the way, and a lot of students used to fail their test on this road because they used to think it was faster in this stretch. And then the council eventually changed their mind and made this section a 40, which is, at the time I was a bit concerned because of the lake on the right and the amount of pedestrians that might be walking through it, but it's actually worked out quite nicely. It certainly avoids any issues on driving tests now, and there's a 30 speed change as you come back into Hadley by Blockley into where the new estates are. At this point we're almost back to Horton Wood. We're home and dry nearly. We've got to do trench lock one more time, and we've got to do a manoeuvre still. We haven't done a manoeuvre yet, so we've done a bit of reversing, doing that little J turn in the road we took the wrong exit on, but we haven't done an actual designated driving test manoeuvre yet, so we're expecting a manoeuvre imminently. At this point as well, if you haven't done a manoeuvre yet, I'd either be expecting a forward park in Horton Wood somewhere or a reverse park at the test centre, because there's not really anywhere to do a manoeuvre between here and the test centre because you're on major roads all the way. We're turning right on this roundabout. Now this is a roundabout that can catch people out because a lot of traffic comes from the right, but sometimes you have traffic on the left that come round the roundabout that help block the vehicles on the right, but obviously there's nothing there for Ayla to deal with there. There's somebody getting to the zebra crossing. Are they crossing? No, they're walking away from it. So that's what Ayla was just slowing for, which is lovely to see. Gone past the left turn. And then we're going to be keeping in the left lane, and we're taking the exit for Whitchurch. Now the road markings say A442 north, which is the opposite way to where we went earlier on. So we're heading back towards Hortonwood and off towards sort of Whitchurch in that direction. Our signs will say Whitchurch, but our markings on the floor say A442 north. So we're not guaranteed to get through this cycle of traffic lights. In fact, they're probably going to change, are they? Yeah, thought they would. Good, nice stop. A little bit of a heavy stop, nothing behind us, so we're okay. We've now got a street sweeper behind us. I always think the street sweepers around here look a little bit like Wall-E from the Disney film. If you agree, please comment below. But we're keeping in the left lane all the way, and we're taking the exit off towards Whitchurch, which is the third exit on this roundabout. A lot of it doesn't look like a roundabout, but we still treat it like a roundabout. It's a gyratory roundabout. Again, if you're getting confused with this road system and this junction, I've got a whole host of videos. In fact, there's even an entire playlist on my channel. If you haven't already subscribed to, please consider doing so, and then hit those playlists, and you'll find a playlist covering every aspect of trench lock that you will need to know for driving tests, life beyond your driving test, dealing with it safely, and everything else involved. Crawling again, which is good. So we're getting our gears dealt with nice and early. And we are away, and we're on the 30 bit. Now this is important. Do not speed up past 30 on this stretch of road, because it's not a 50 until you reach that gateway and that red bit of road marking. Now it's a 50. It's natural to want to accelerate coming off a junction, coming off a roundabout, but at that point you've got to delay that movement until you're off the roundabout and into the 50 zone. Seen far too many students get marked down for speeding up too soon on that stretch. And we're turning right at the roundabout. It's the fourth exit. The sign is actually missing the Denso turning, but we know it is right fourth exit back into Hortonwood. It's the location of the exit is the same as it appears on the sign. So if you were following road signs, the exit is in the same position. It's just one exit further than what the sign dictates. So there's exit 2. Here's exit 3. So it's our next exit here. Making sure that white car doesn't emerge and they've stayed. That's good. Cyclist is staying on the pavement. So all things to be aware of. It's actually been a pretty trouble-free 8-10 test, which is good. I'm happy with that for it. You know, it's 8-10s can either be nice and quiet or heavy, heavy chaos. And this one seemed to be quite nice. Yeah, agreed. That's Ron, my cat. We're turning right third exit on this roundabout. Yeah, are we? I don't really need you to do commentary as well, please. So we're turning right third exit, and we're coming up the road now. Now, you might get asked to do a pull-up on the right on this road, potentially. You might get asked to park up on the left in this scenario on this road as well, I believe. Is that what we're doing? Yeah, we are. Nope, we're moving around the car, okay. We're just slowing to allow that other car to come the other way. We've only pulled up on the left twice so far, from what I believe, which is less than normal. But we will see. Sometimes if an examiner doesn't see an issue if you're pulling up on the left, they may not make you do it repeatedly. If they have an issue with maybe your blind spot check as you move away, or your car preparation, or your observation, or your judgment skills, they might ask you to do it more often. But Ayla's done it twice, once behind a parked car and then once just on the side of a road in Donington, and not had to pull up since. Where are we going? We're going into a car park. So this is quite a commonly used car park on driving test. It's heading into autocraft. Not quite into autocraft. This bit, it does say private property, but people always seem to use this car park for parking. So just be mindful, don't linger in here for a long time if you can help it, because it is private property. And we're forward parking by the looks of it. So are you picking the right-hand side, which is Ayla's priority, favourite side? That looks pretty good. That looks like a nice speed. In the past, we've had issues with speed coming into forward parking, but that looked like she controlled that really well. No need to adjust. We're observing. We're coming back out of the space, and we're going to leave the car park the same way we came in. So we're finishing, turning our wheel full lock to the left, heading back out the same way we came in, and that's her manoeuvre. Not a big deal at all, right? As long as you observe as you're reversing before you start and while you're moving, as long as you get in the bay reasonably well on your forward parking, no problem at all. We're going to go left at the end, I'm guessing. View on the right isn't very good on this one, so just edge forward up to the line. Don't commit until you know you've got a clear path, so pushing as far to the left like Ayla's done there is imperative. Just crawling, slight hill as well, so just crawling a little bit. Good move off there. The dyno rod van's followed us out of there, but he's turning right. We're only 2 turns away now from the test centre, so we've done a good job so far. Let's see if anything else flags up on the way back. Taking the next road on the left, I do believe. Yes, we are. Again, really quiet in Horton Wood. This would be about 8:40 right now, so people should be arriving at work, but even the car parks look really quiet. I don't know, what have I missed? Is there something? I don't know. I don't know. Not quite sure what I've missed here, but we'll take it. We're turning left at the end of the road. Not the greatest T-junction in the world, so sometimes this is a stop. You can see a little bit better as you approach it a bit closer though, which we have done. So we haven't needed a stop. We've seen a gap. We've kept us moving. And then we're going to take the next road on the right, which takes us back into Horton Wood 35. If you see the orange and white flags, you know you're almost home. Back down to Horton Wood 35 and back down towards the test centre. Have we got time to make that turn? Yes. Maybe a little bit quick on that turn, but not enough to cause any issues. And we're just carrying on. So we've only pulled up twice on that test. So examiner must have been happy with both park up on the lefts. And we're going back in the test set now. We've already done a manoeuvre. So we're just going to turn into a bay. And we're not even really being marked on that. Ayla does park really well as he comes back in. I think she's first back on test as well. Yeah, she is first back. So there's no one else here. The blue car is an examiner's car, so that doesn't count. And we're done. Passed 3 minor faults. Great job, Ayla. See you on the roads.